98% of our population live in regional, rural or remote areas, meaning just over a quarter of Australians can face isolation or be disadvantaged because of their geographical location.
But one regional Aussie mum is doing something about it. Kimberley Furness created Oak magazine as a way of connecting others, sharing their stories and representing an often forgotten community of people. And she's picked up a few awards along the way. Yes, she has. And for more, we welcome the founder of Oak magazine, Kimberley Furness. Welcome. Lovely to see you.
Hello, thanks for having me.
Now, a lot of people said print media was dead, but gee, you've proven everybody wrong on this. Tell us about the mag.
Well, I have a love of magazines, and I must admit I have seen some come and go, but look, as a mum of four, I spend so much time in the supermarket, and there's a point there where I was standing and just not seeing my story reflected back at me. And I was also travelling around rural Vic and New South Wales, delivering social media training, and in these workshops, the business owners, primarily women, would tell me about why they started their business, you know, what community problem they're trying to solve. And I would leave these workshops inspired. I will have learnt something myself and, you know, suddenly found this community. And so, you know, in 2017, I launched Oak magazine in 6 weeks. It was from concept to print, nothing like a deadline. And we started off as 24 pages. We're now 100 plus. And you know, we're really interested in that backstory. So having really authentic, powerful, courageous conversations and learning like what drives these women to create change in their community, in Australia, and even for, you know, their future generations.
I just love this. I mean, there has been a real resurgence of that connection to community thanks to social media. There are some, you know, benefits of having that. And you hear these fantastic stories, particularly, as you said, like yourself, these mums or women starting businesses and then sharing their experience and actually supporting each other. You've continued to roll on. It's not just the magazine. You've rolled that out further. You've got a podcast as well called A Friend of Mine. And I love the fact you're often recording from the road in a van. Tell us a little bit about the podcast as well.
Yeah, so I must admit it started during COVID. So I was recording at home with, you know, kids around. But yeah, I have a van now and that's all come off an award that I won. I just had the courage to, you know, to just give it a crack and buy it. And what that allows me to do is to drive around to these tiny towns and actually meet people in person. You know, that face-to-face is really important, and it just helps create this intimate experience. And what happens when people come in the van is that you suddenly have no one listening in, there's no prying eyes or anything, and people open up and really trust you with their story. I've done a couple of field days and it certainly draws some curious looks amongst all the machinery. You know, but it's a conversation starter, and I think the plan is to get out on the road next year and visit even more rural towns. You know, check in on some of those communities that have been impacted by floods and just share more stories.
Oh, this is great. What are some common misconceptions, would you say, from people in the big smoke about people out in rural or regional areas? What do you think?
Look, I think regional women are underestimated. I think we're slowly moving beyond this stereotype, I hope, of, you know, the farmer's wife and, you know, it being just a nice side hobby. You know, I hope our stories really do show this really broad range of what's happening out there, and that these women are innovative, resilient, they have grit, determination, and can make something out of nothing. But there's also a lot of challenges that we face living, you know, outside of a metropolitan postcode. And that is, for example, postage. Our post office isn't just down the road or around the corner. For some, it could be an hour's drive into town, if not more. It's only something they do every now and then. And that's really difficult to run a business. Also, you know, supplies, limited access to networking and events, which is really important for that, you know, that isolation component. And I mean, also diesel prices now that are, you know, are impacting small business too. So, you know, I just hope that the stories we're sharing through Oak is changing that and, yeah, giving people something more to think about.
Yeah, and connecting a community that might have otherwise not been connected. I mean, in terms of when you're looking for stories, what kind of stories are you really seeking at the moment to tell?
Yeah, I mean, we want everyone to be able to see and hear themselves in the stories that we tell, whether it's in print, you know, online or in the podcast. So, you know, our stories are very diverse and inclusive. They're also accessible now with an audio version of the magazine so that people with, you know, visual impairment or maybe, limited reading skills or just want to multitask and listen to it. But in terms of the stories, there are so many. What I love about, I think, people in general is they talk. So you interview one person, they'll say, oh my gosh, you've got to hear about this person and that person. Before you know it, you have a network. I think the bigger challenge for me, it's not so much the stories, it's finding those advertisers, those brand partnerships, just to help us get it out further and for more people to read them.
Yeah, so great to talk to you. What a wonderful, wonderful project. Congratulations on all fronts, and to your awards as well. Congratulations to those.
Thanks so much.
Well done.
Fantastic stuff. And to learn more about Kimberley and her magazine and podcast, you can just head over to the Morning Show website. We'll have all the details there.
Great stuff.